Hello and welcome back again to the Marketing Chinwag. My name's Matt Thorpe from Grasshopper UK.
And I'm Paul Gully from Elevated Online.
And we are here to help you up your marketing for your small to medium-sized business. We've got lots of tips and tools and strategies to share with you, and hopefully it will help you get more results, stop making mistakes, and save as much money as possible and really focus on your business. So how are you doing today, Paul? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've had a cup of tea and that early start with our networking and stuff. What about yourself? You fueled up?
Fueled up and ready to go. Yeah, my coffee's absolutely empty. So hopefully that'll kick in soon and I'll be buzzing. So today we wanted to talk about sort of Facebook for business best practice. So we see a lot of businesses, Paul in particular, because obviously social media is more his bag. But we see a lot of businesses that just aren't really getting much success with Facebook. They're not doing it properly, or they're not focusing in the right way, and it's just sad to see. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to come across with a few tips and strategies that really have worked for our businesses and our clients, and share those with you, so obviously you can gain them the most success. So Paul, in your mind, what kind of business is doing wrong with Facebook? Why are they not getting the results that they're after?
They're not sitting down thinking about it. They've perhaps not put the thought into who they're targeting, who their audience is, where they are, what they want to hear. But the key thing's planning. So we've mentioned in previous things, it's key to everything. You've got to have a plan together and a strategy, get your calendar, whatever, plan out what you're going to do, and then work through that. So without a plan, you're sort of setting yourself up to fail.
These businesses are a little bit like a rudderless ship, aren't they? Because they're kind of, post. I mean, I had a client yesterday that sort of said, "Can you take a look at my Facebook page and see what's going on?" And it just looked like they were just posting stuff, and there was no engagement whatsoever. And it was just, I just said to him, it's a bit of a waste of time unless you actually get the strategy right.
Yeah, you've got to put the work into it as well. So you've got to, it's not just about being there and hoping the people are going to come to you. You've got to kind of get out there and get to the people as well. So getting involved in groups and engaging on other people's posts is going to be a key thing. You've got to make sure you're part of the conversation and that you can also start a conversation.
Exactly. So with all that in mind, sort of thing, what we're going to do is we're going to go through to help, if you're watching this and you're thinking, right, okay, that is me, I'm not having any success with Facebook, I really want, Facebook is where my audience is. We've got some tips, or Paul's got some tips to share with you, or share with us, about what the best practice is. So first off, we've got page setup and optimization. So what does that mean, Paul?
Just key points, really. Is it set up? Have you got your images on there? Got your logo? Have you created your username just to make it a bit more memorable? We've mentioned in previous episodes about your social media handles / account names. So get that set up. But yeah, it's all about your header image. Is it something relevant and kind of eye-catching that fits with your business or a product, something that you're doing? Nothing too fancy, just something that's kind of there as a visual, your logo, and then it's all about the description, which Facebook have dumbed down a bit. They've taken away the kind of story section where you could tell a bit more about your business. So now it's got to be short and punchy in your description. Try and get maybe some keywords in there. And yeah, that's the key bits. And your information, phone number, hours of business, if that's appropriate. Location as well, all your contact details, website, especially your website, make sure that's on there as well. But it's all that key information so people can see it. Is it all set up? But like I said, try and get some keywords in your description, but keep it short and punchy.
Yeah, in a way, it's a bit like all this kind of is real just housekeeping, isn't it? It's a bit like, you Google my business. I see lots of companies that have these pages and they set them up and they don't have a phone number, or they don't even put their web address on there. And you're like, well, how's a customer supposed to really interact with you and learn more about your business? Because Facebook is a key destination for people to go to and people to find you, but they still need to find your website, and they still might want to pick up the phone to you. So all these little things, people like to contact businesses in different ways. So you've got to make sure that you cover as many bases as possible.
Yeah, and if without that, they can't get in touch with you. So, every month, just make sure the stuff's working, click on it yourself, make sure that it's clicking through to where you want it. You might have changed tax slightly, you might change a product or whatever. So just make sure you keep everything up to date, get in the habit of having a monthly kind of walk through, make sure all your details are up to date.
Yeah, and you mentioned just previously about the header image. Now, images obviously key, aren't they? Because obviously it's first impressions count, and if your header image doesn't work on mobile, or it just doesn't work at all, it's you're going to turn people off straight away, aren't you?
Yeah, so there are set sizes which if we can share out some resources and stuff for Facebook image sizes and for the other social media as well. It's just making sure, because if you've not optimized it for the size of that header, if someone goes on a mobile, it might cut a bit off, or vice versa. It might look all right on mobile, but when they go on the desktop, suddenly it's not fitting right. And you want it to be responsive and to fit. And so that if you've got text on it, especially, make sure it's within the parameters.
Right, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so the first one is obviously just get your house in order. Make sure you you get all your information on there. Make sure your Facebook page is set up and ready to go. Right, second on the list, we've got content planning and strategy. So what do people need to do in order to to gain traction with their Facebook page?
First thing, obviously, you want to know who you're targeting. So map out your audience. Who's your target person, your customer persona. Once you've got that, then look at how many times a week you're going to post. So set it realistic. Don't go for 3 times a day or whatever. Just go, if you can, start off smaller and go 3 times a week. But plan that out. Grab a calendar and plan, which days you're going to post, and get an idea. Formulate some topics or themes that you're going to use, and start with that first. Start a bit smaller. Have 3 themes a week. And keep to that for a month, and just sort of kick it off that way. Also, if you've got more than one person dealing with it, work out what sort of roles you're going to have, who's going to be responsible for putting the posts out, maybe who's responsible for answering any comments or messages that might come through on Facebook.
Yeah, and I think that's key about just being realistic about things, because I know it is overwhelming, but everyone's got their day job, and whether you've got a team of people helping you on your social side, or you're not, or you're doing it yourself, it's important that you kind of make it fit in with your everyday schedule. Don't kind of set yourself targets that are too big, because you're just not going to meet it, and you're going to feel like you're a bit of a failure, and you don't want that. You just want to have targets that you can hit, and if you have to post twice a week, you have to post twice a week, but just make it count. And obviously from a content perspective, what you've got to make, like I said, you've got to make it count. You've got to make sure that the content you're posting is worthwhile, haven't you? Because if you're just posting any old thing with no strategy, it's just not good. It's just a complete waste of time, isn't it?
No, it's not going to get you anywhere just randomly posting ad hoc stuff. You want to have, once you've got your calendar together, get your themes, stick to that. So have things where you're sharing information and education, like we've been banging on about, and stuff, putting in bits about your products or services. Yeah. So stick to that strategy, but like you said, keep it realistic. Don't overwhelm yourself from day one, because you'll just stop and it won't work.
Yeah. And in terms of content, I mean, I know what a lot of people I speak to, they're like, oh, yeah, but I just don't know what to post. I've got nothing to say. I mean, the way I tend to approach this, and I approach this the same as with a blog. Okay, people go, they roll their eyes as soon as you mention the word blog, but then you sort of say, hang on a minute, this, so your social channels and your blog, they're effectively like a lifestyle magazine for your business. That's the way I explain it. So you've got your different sections. So if it's good housekeeping, cosmopolitan, men's health, whatever it is, think of the different sections and think about, right, okay, how can I break up my business? I've got people, I've got products, I've got customers that I can talk about, I've got events I can talk about. There's loads of different things you can talk about. And I think if you just make a long list of the potential things you can talk about. And whether you think they're interesting or not, it doesn't matter, because your customers will probably find they're interesting. If you've got lots of things going on and you're quite active, that shows to customers, even if you're moving offices, right? Or, you know, you want to talk about some of the, you know, what's going on in the office, or, you know, something's just a new set of computers has just turned up in the office. It doesn't matter. People, you know, want to know these things, because if there's things going on, it shows you're an active business. And the great thing about social media is, you know, you can go behind the scenes of businesses and see what's going on, can't you? So if you're a manufacturing business, it's built for social media, isn't it?
Perfect. Yeah. The blog analogy there, where you're saying make the list and all that, same thing for social media. Do that. Write bullet points of, you know, your products, your people, your backstory, any events, things that you find interesting as well, because at the end of the day, it's all about you. You are the business. You're the person behind the business, and people want to see that. So just, you know, your take on, you might have read something, or you might have a tip or information, share that, and people want to see it. So everyone sits there and thinks, oh, I don't know what to post about, and how can I make content interesting? I mean, I did this back in the day with my freight company. It was kind of, well, how do I make this interesting and stuff? But then when you sort of step back, do a list, and it's all the stuff behind what you're doing, that's probably just as good as promoting services.
Yeah, it's not talking about how great you are. It's actually about how you're going about it. I mean, I've got a client who's a coffee roaster, and down in Guildford, and you know, things that they get up to, like the whole all the roasting, well, the actual roaster, kind of the machinery and the gear that they've got there is just really amazing to look at. And then, you know, they've got all these orders going out the door, so you see piles of orders, and just sharing things like that just shows there's a lot of people going on. You know, there's a lot of expertise behind the scenes, and there's lots of orders going out, and it makes people realise actually there's successful business here. You know, this is great, and I want to be a part of it, so I'll keep in contact with them.
Yeah, the thing with content as well is that normally the way it works is the posts you think are not going to work very well are normally the ones that kind of grab people's attention, and they respond and engage with. And then there'll be something else where you're like, oh yeah, this post is amazing, it's really good, I've spent ages planning it out. And then it kind of, you just get the sort of you know, it's just the sort of wind and everything, tumbleweed is going across and stuff like that. So yeah, you'd be surprised at what people want to read and everything else. So yeah, it's you never know.
That's it. So okay, so we've talked about obviously setting up your page, we talked about the content and making a list, and obviously putting a calendar together. So next one is, what types of content in your experience? Now I know this is kind of it's not just a one word answer, but what in your experience is the types of content that actually works best, would you say?
Video is the main one, video, and on Facebook Lives as well. So if you can get your face there, or, you know, a face for the business, someone talking and getting that personality across, then yeah, you've got to go with video. It's the main content driver for everything. Engagement is massive on it, so you can't ignore it, unfortunately. So if you're not wanting to be the person there talking about it and be the face, then get someone who can, if you've got someone else. Otherwise people want to see you. So just go with it and have fun, and don't sort of take it too seriously or worry about it too much, and you'll get used to it after a few times. But video is the main one, and then behind that, obviously graphics and things like that. So make sure you've got your branding together, get your colors, stuff like that, and have just relevant content that is sort of eye-catching.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about kind of getting the personal element. I mean, you're right. People, it sounds like it's a cliche, but people do business with people. And if you know, especially when you're trying to kind of hire a specialist for a service, or, you know, consultant or something like that, you know, or you know, even if you're going to buy a product from a company, you want to know that they're a specialist. And if you can see the people and actually, you know, engage with their content and actually see what they're talking about, and they know what they're talking about, that kind of instills trust and instills confidence. I mean, in our networking group, we've got an arborist, modern day lumberjack, I think, and he's on Instagram all the time, and Clive. And then we've got a builder, Jamie. He's you know, on the on his projects, and he's talking about his projects. So regardless of whatever business you're doing, whether you're, an embroidery business, you've got things to talk about, you've got different projects. Whether you're an architect, you can talk about the projects that you're working on. So it doesn't matter whatever type of business, you've got new things coming on your plate all the time, and you can share that with your customers. And once they see that you've got all these things going on and you've got interesting things to watch, they will eventually warm to you, and then when it's time, they'll pick up the phone.
Yeah, the key thing as well is don't feel you've got to do video all the time. It's good if you're doing a few posts a week, do a couple of videos, like recorded ones, and maybe do something a bit more ad hoc that you're on site, like you mentioned, with builders and things like that. But yeah, don't feel it's not got to be video all the time. You don't want to do just one type of content constantly. It's good to mix it up so that you've got, if you're repurposing stuff from a blog post, you might have a bit more text and just have a relevant image to go with it in the post. And then you've got your graphics side, so you can do infographics, or just having a visual element to go maybe with a tip that you're putting in a post, something like that. It hasn't got to be complicated. So, but obviously video is a big engagement driver, so you need to use that to your advantage and use it as much as possible, but not overuse it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What about just audio?
Yeah, audio is great. I mean, that's up and coming. You've got Clubhouse has just come up. So Facebook have also got rooms and things like that. And I think there's, the whole audio side, everyone loves a good podcast. So, like this, we could take just the audio channel from this kind of thing and put it into a podcast. So you can do that as well. So yeah, don't sort of forget about audio side. It can work as well if you've got something where you're doing a bit more podcasty type stuff. So yeah, just pull that from the video, but you get sort of twice the content then. Yeah, sort of look at different options. Clubhouse is a good one. I think Facebook's catching up with their own options on that. So
yeah, okay, good stuff. Right, okay, so we talked about page setup, we talked about content and strategy, we've talked about the topics of your content and the best types of content, and final one is talking about how we promote that, how we actually, you get your Facebook page seen by as many eyeballs as possible.
Yeah, obviously the main driver is always going to be running ads, and people look at boosting posts and that kind of thing. So again, it comes down to who's your audience, look at your targeting, look at your demographics, that kind of thing. So you've got to have that nailed down, and then you can start setting up your audience for your ads and start promoting that way. Jump in groups, get talking with people, start promoting that way as well, and driving people, inviting them to your page. First off, when you've got your pages, go through all your friends and contacts and invite them to like the page. I mean, the worst thing is they'll say no or ignore it. But obviously you could pick up quite a few initial followers that way. So once you've got a bit of traction, just invite people, link it from your website, from your blogs, from everything else, put it in email, signatures, anything like that, where you can put the link to the Facebook page if you're driving them there. Obviously, link it up with your website with Facebook pixels so you can do a bit of the tracking side. But just get it out there on everything you've got.
Yeah, and like Paul mentioned there about friends and family, don't be afraid to push friends and family, because they know people. Just because don't think about your inner circle as, it's a bit like networking, okay? Don't think of just your inner circle as the only people to sell to. It's who they know. It's not those people there. It's the people beyond them, and know who people they know, and they know, and they know, and so on. And also, if you email customers, don't forget to have your email, your Facebook link in your signature. So day-to-day email, which you're emailing out to people. And also, if you actually email customers on a mailing list, make sure that you are pushing people to Facebook as well. So, if you're sending out salesy emails, one day perhaps just send out an email that says, why not join us on Facebook? We've got lots to share with you. So get more engagement that way, because the more touch points you've got with your customers, especially on the social channels, the more it's going to help them kind of learn to love you and appreciate what you do. You'll get on their radar, and then they will obviously come and buy from you, hopefully.
Yeah, and don't forget the community side. So if you can set up a group within your business page and invite people to that and get people interacting and posting their own stuff on there and having conversations, then yeah, you can invite people. You can do, like you said, an email and say, we've got our new Facebook group, come and join us and, join the conversation, that sort of thing.
And infiltrating other groups as well, that I always sort of tell people to do. Like, if you go into other Facebook groups and you go in and be overly helpful and kind of, just chat to people and, within your specific niche, that's going to, get on people's radar again. They're going to think, oh, well, who's this person? What are they talking about? That sounds interesting. They'll click on your Facebook page, and then they'll also come on your, onto your website as well.
Yeah, it's just about putting the work in, getting around a bit, getting your face known and your name known. And like we've said before a few times, you've got to help people a lot, and then it kind of comes back that they're sort of, oh yeah, he's really good. They're great tips. So I'm going to have a look at their website, or I'm going to go on their Facebook page. And then once you've done bits like that, you can actually put in posts and say, we've got our Facebook group, come and join us on there as well. And yeah, like you said, just infiltrate other groups and communities, be helpful, and then people will kind of gravitate towards you anyway.
That's it. So be consistent. So put time aside in your diary, treat it like almost you're treating a client, because otherwise you won't do it. And actually, it doesn't have to be a day a week or anything like that. It just has to be, maybe an hour on a Monday afternoon or something, and an hour on a Thursday afternoon or something like that, just to kind of update some content and go through and obviously keep in communication with customers as well. So, Paul, that was awesome. So let's just run through those. So the first one is page setup and optimization. So get your house in order. Second one is create a content plan and make that list of subjects and drop it into your content plan. And don't be kind of overzealous with your time, and make it realistic. Third one was best content type. So obviously you mentioned video as the best content, but try and mix it up a little bit. And then obviously the fourth one was promotion. So just think about the different ways you can kind of get involved in other groups and get the word out there. So I think that gives people quite a bit to go on. I mean, the whole point of this, this series is really not to confuse people, just try and make it nice and easy. So Paul, thanks very much once again. Nice show. Good job. And,
thanks a lot. I think we timed it quite well. My dogs are going mad in the background now.
Perfect timing. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you next time.
Take care. See ya. Bye.
If you like this content, then make sure you give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, just give us a thumbs down and pop a comment below if you have any questions, and we will be glad to help.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to keep up to date and see our weekly vlogs, and then also hit the bell for the notifications. And if you want to follow more of what we're doing across our website and social media, the website is marketingchinwag.com, or you can drop us an email at hello@marketingchinwag.com.